During the late 90s, Hey Arnold was by far the most unique cartoon at the time. But what made Hey Arnold so special? Let's dive in and take a look at the creativity and uniqueness of Hey Arnold. If you haven't already, hit that sub button and turn notifications on. I will be trying to upload 2 videos a week. And remember, leave suggestions down below. And I do apologize if the audio is kind of trash. My apologies, I'm doing this all from my phone. It's difficult, man, but I'm going to try my best to improve it over time. But anyway, let's dive in. Hey Arnold always stood out to me due to the interesting characters. I mean, no one really misses a beat. Arnold is outgoing and a kind person who tries to find the best in everyone even when no one else wants to. Now, for Gerald is a great friend. He always kept Arnold up, even when Arnold was in sad situations. You know, he's always there, he's wise, and he's a loyal best friend. I mean, he's the guy you want to have on your side. And, you know, sometimes the two, they face conflict, but they get over it. And we see this best in Part-Time Friends. Part-Time Friends, once Miss Vitello breaks her hip, she decides to let Arnold and Gerald take over her business, and Arnold is doing the work with the flowers, and Gerald is more into the money perspective and keeping count of, you know, transactions, and Arnold after a while gets annoyed of it, so Arnold decides that he quits and he just can't take it, and the two stop talking. Now, for Arnold, as soon as he learns about what happened to Grandpa and Jimmy Costco way back in the day, he decides that he can't just end a friendship like that, so he decides to go back to Gerald after the customers are mad at Gerald for his mistakes. So the two decide, you know, hey, we need each other, let's work together, and they reunite and become friends again. This helps them understand that, hey, you know, we work better together, so let's not, you know, get into silly, you know, messed up arguments over some dumb stuff, and that they need each other. As for Helga, she has a soft side, and sometimes, you know, she can understand when she's made mistakes, and she has shown that in the past time and time again. For the rest of the group, Sid is a solid friend. You know, he's chill. And for Harold, he might be a bully, but he has a soft side. Stinky, he's poor, but you know what? He is still happy about what he has in life. Someone like Rhonda, who might be, you know, more wealthy, more fortunate. Still, you know, both of them look at, you know, a situation from different perspectives and they find the best way out of it. And then you got someone like Eugene, who's unlucky, but he's thankful, you know, and you gotta appreciate that from these characters' perspective and, you know, just the way that they, you know, look at something. And, you know, it's fortunate that these kids, you know, they look at something from their perspective and take out the parts that may have a positive and negative effect on them, but they still try their best to understand it. At last, the adults. Now, for most of the adults, you know, they're good people and, you know, they have other things they do. You know, Mr. Wynn was a country singer and, you know, Miriam proved that she could be a good salesman and really wanted to prove something to Helga. But, you know, other than that, you know, we do see how these adults, you know, impact, you know, these kids' lives, because it's important that at that young age that they learn. You know, I feel like the characters, the adults really, you know, for the most part, they make an impact, and sometimes they understand that, hey, you know, we're human too, and we can make mistakes just like our kids, and we see this best in The Vacant Lot. Now, in The Vacant Lot, after the kids are fed up with playing baseball in the street and cars, you know, messing them up, they find a field and begin to play baseball there. Now, once they get the field going, the adults shortly take over due to the fact that they just want it, I guess. But the kids, let them have the trash back because, you know, hey, we founded this with this stuff in it. You know, if you want it, you are going to have to clean it yourself. And they just, you know, they get frustrated. And the adults suddenly kind of realize, hey, you know, we kind of messed up, you know. They rebuild the baseball field, and the kids, they are astonished. They cannot believe it. But they are happy that they have a new field to play baseball in, and it's even better than before. For the entirety of this segment, I am going to be just playing the Mr. Simmons, a new teacher episode. I thought it was a fantastic episode. But anyway, let's dive in. The music in Hey Arnold is so unique. It knows how to fill into a setting or an environment when something like happens. You know, if it's a fast-paced motion, you'll hear fast-paced music, or, you know, it reminds me of Tom and Jerry in a way, but with more, you know, jazz and a lot more calm beats. Jim Lang and Craig Bartlett were like a phenomenal duo. They're like the Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan of making cartoon music. They're like top of the range. It's not even close. But Jim Lang himself is a phenomenal dude, and his music is just even more incredible. You know, the way that he can just fill in a beat and make it just feel so perfect for that environment, you know. Arnold could be laying on his bed kind of sad, and you can just feel the music kind of rush in, and it's phenomenal. It's beautiful. I mean, come on now, just take a listen. I'll play you about 30 seconds. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I sure did. But anyway, let's talk about the city real quick. The city really goes well with the music, you know. It's this area, it's a big city, you know, cars constantly going, you know, highways, you know, construction going on, and it really just adds to the uniqueness of this big area that Arnold stays in, and we kind of understand how it helps develop plots and, you know, push storylines so we can kind of fully get, you know, the gist of it. The plots in Hey Arnold can be seriously deep sometimes, and I feel like the best example is Pigeon Man. In Pigeon Man, Arnold's pigeon becomes sick, so he goes to the Pigeon Man, and the rest of the kids question it and think how the Pigeon Man's just crazy or whatever, but Arnold doesn't see him like that. After the Pigeon Man repairs and heals Arnold's pigeon, Arnold asks, you know, let's go to pizza, because, you know, it's been a while for you, and, you know, why not? And, you know, he's enjoying it. And for the meanwhile, it's good until Harold and the rest of the kids, they go to Pigeon Man's place and they destroy pretty much his entire home. And, you know, it just kind of made Pigeon Man question, you know, why would anyone even do this? Pigeon Man decides to explain to Arnold why, you know, he just understands the pigeons but not the people. And, you know, he explains that it's time for him to go. And I guess it makes sense, you know, after having your home destroyed, he just wanted, you know, new life. And you know, he said, you know, he hopes he finds a new Arnold in wherever he ends up going. And according to Craig Bartlett, he did end up going to Paris. So this does debunk the theory of it being a suicide, which, you know, makes sense. I don't think Nickelodeon would allow it. But it is interesting to see someone who isn't accepted in, you know, human society, but he knows that he has somewhere he can go, and that is, you know, those are the pigeons. And they understand him. Now, the next episode I want to talk about is Cool Jerk. Right before Arnold was about to get beat up, he was saved by Frankie G, who is the cool kid, or so it's said. Now, their friendship starts out as pretty calm, you know, a chill friendship, you know. If you're Arnold, you're kind of thinking, you know, oh, wow, this guy's cool, you know, because, you know, you're in 4th grade, you're kind of manipulated by it, and you don't really know it yet. But soon it'll take a turn for the worse. The next day, right before Arnold is supposed to walk into school, Frankie G convinces him to skip school to go hang out with Frankie, which, I mean, come on now, that's just manipulation 101. I mean, the dude convinced you to get out of school, and Arnold doesn't have that type of reputation, and it kind of leaves Gerald all alone, and Gerald is slowly noticing the impact that Frankie G is having on Arnold. Because of the notable impact, Gerald decides to try to have a talk with Arnold, but Arnold is just kind of sucked into this, like, phase where he just isn't bothered. It's like, don't worry about me. I'm going to do what I want, and he kind of just thinks about it, like, is this what I want to do? And that night, he sneaks out to go hang out with Frankie, and it was probably not the best idea he had in mind. That night, Frankie G and the rest of his crew decides to try to peer pressure Arnold into breaking into a building so they can steal some equipment for their group, and Arnold finally comes to his senses and realizes that he's being peer pressured and manipulated into, doing these, crimes. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. And he gets forced up and, he's stuck in this situation where he's literally stuck. He's stuck in the window, and then police sirens are heard, and everybody, Frankie G, his crew, they dip out. And luckily for Arnold, it was just Gerald looking out for him. During Secret Santa at the boarding house, Arnold pulls Mr. Wynn's name, and he notices that just about every Christmas, Mr. Wynn is sad, and this makes him wonder, what is making him so sad? And we end up learning his backstory about his daughter Mai, who he sacrificed so she could go live a better life. And it was during the Vietnamese War, and there just wasn't a way out at the time, so he just sacrificed his daughter just so she could have a better future and a better opportunity in her life. And Arnold decides, you know what, I cannot just let this, this man, he waited years of his life just to get over here, and he hasn't been able to find her. So he decides to take matters into his own hands, and he goes to a government building and is just looking to find this, his daughter, and eventually he finds a guy who said he'll do it for him if they do his Christmas shopping, and they got every item that he needed except for the Nancy Spumoni boots. And it comes up to Helga after she gets an early Christmas present, which were those Nancy Spumoni boots. And after that, Arnold gets a miracle because the morning of Christmas, Mai comes back to Mr. Wynn, and it's beautiful, and we see Helga, give that sacrifice here, which, maybe you wouldn't normally expect, but it's something that, just had to be done, and Helga shows her heart right here. She has that. And it makes me happy to see that she is willing to, pass up what she had just so someone else could, be reunited with family. And it's great just to see someone give up something so valuable, but for something that is even more valuable. It shows the warm side of Helga, and I love it. Alright, for the last episode, Helga on the couch. Now, this is an infamous episode, so let's dive in. So basically, Mr. Simmons invites a psychologist to come and, study the classroom, and Helga decides that she wants to, she decides to be rude, even though, the psychologist is watching. She doesn't really care. And the psychologist invites Helga to a therapy session, I guess counseling, I don't know what it would be considered as. But in this time, we do see how she acts, and, the therapist, or I guess the psychologist, slowly finds her way into Helga, and she learns about her childhood, and learning that she was neglected because her parents liked Olga more, and how Olga just kind of took the spotlight away from her, and the only person who really cared was Arnold for a brief period. I mean, this girl is literally walking to preschool, bro, like, come on now. But, pretty unfortunate to see that, but, you just gotta keep moving by it, and we do learn, just some more stuff, and similarities, and eventually Helga breaks and reveals her crush about Arnold, and it's pretty unique to see just, if you treat Helga like a human, she'll, treat you with the respect. Alright, that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Now, I would like to give a quick little shout out to Jordan Fringe and Dusk Tilshawn. Both have made fantastic Hey Arnold videos, which inspired me to make this video. So please check them out. I will leave their channel links in the description below. And remember to subscribe. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.